So we have good enough lighting in here. So let's talk about memories, what they're used for, what their importance is, and what they mean in terms of magic and what we can do with them.
Necronomicon is coming.
So this is my second attempt at making this video because I got interrupted by a phone call. But let's try again. Gonna put my keys down. So, we're talking about the importance of memories and what they're used for, and what you're going to find out is that things happen in cycles, and memories are basically a wellspring, a container, a backup source, like a battery of emotional energy that we can use for spell work. So the Necronomicon, the Simon Neck, states that the memory of the things in the past and the things to come are the same memory, and that speaks to cycles because things that have happened to you in the past, they tend to happen again, uh, unless you examine those things, work on them, and change your own behavior and your own interactions with others. Like if you have a tendency to be clumsy with your car and get into accidents, unless you change your behavior driving, you're going to get into more accidents. If you have been in relationships where you've been too clingy, chances are you're going to be too clingy again in the future. If you've gotten into relationships with like negative people over and over again, and you've been cheated on or beat up or whatever, chances are that it's going to happen again and again until you examine, your own behavior, which is who you're attracted to, things like that. So things happen again and again in cycles, even in jobs. Unless you continue to improve, you're going to keep screwing up the same thing. I think I made that point clear. So anyway, we're talking about our own memories and what they can be used for. So memories can provide us with a wellspring of energy that can help us when we need the energy or need to get into a certain heightened state of mind to execute a desired spell or ritual. Um, I have a little script that I wrote on my new phone, and it looks really bright, doesn't it? Oh. So anyway, let me just go off of that. If you need to do a protection spell, look no further than in your own memories. When's the last time that you felt that you were threatened? How did your body feel? How did your mind feel? That's the energy that you can tap into. So the last time that you felt threatened, or the last time you felt angry, or a very powerful time when you felt angry, a very nice time when you felt protected, when you felt really happy. What's the goal of your spell work? If it's prosperity, you want to feel happy. If it's offensive magic or protection or even banishing, you might want to feel a little off center, a little angry or something like that. Think of the most powerful memories that you have. What's my happiest memory? Like most people can say, what's my happiest memory? What's my saddest memory? When was I the most angry? And we can just kind of pull those up. And when you're in that area of spell work, after you declare your intention, you're raising the energy. You can do things like drumming, dancing, singing, playing instruments, all that stuff. But also, I would try this next time. Take a moment and just sit down and try to think of the desired emotion. Pick a memory that you have of that emotion. Just try to relive it. Try to go right back there. And how did that feel? And just let that feeling fill you up. One of those things that like attracts like, and different physical things can help with what's going on in your head. If you kind of start hunched over, and as you really focus on that feeling, build your back up straighter and straighter until you're full of it, until you're full of that emotion. Um, let's see. So you let it build up inside you. Memories trigger emotion, and this emotional energy is what we use to direct our intention towards the goals of our magic. Think about it. Like attracts like, and you use your memories of being happy, angry, frustrated, sad, whatever, as a magnet. So, next part. I think this is, yeah. Memories can also trap energy too. People with PTSD or other such traumas, according to energetic thinking and spiritual thinking, have energy trapped in other times, places, and memories. This is very similar to what's known as soul retrieval, which I know I did touch on in a previous video, but I can't remember which one it was. Think of any negative memories. Are there any that you absolutely hate to think about? Maybe when you got dumped. Maybe when you were in a car accident. Maybe an incident of abuse. Or just real trauma. What I'm saying is that there is energy trapped there. The process of regaining that lost energy is called recapitulation. At least that's what I heard it being called by this one thing that I learned it from. Where are we? Yeah. To do this, you need to get yourself into a receptive state such as meditating, or deep trance. There's also a therapy for it. It's called EMDR, but I don't know what it stands for, and don't ask me. Google it, I guess, because I was too lazy to do that while I was making these notes. Yeah. So you can visit the memory without the emotional attachment. You're just kind of observing it. It's like you're watching a movie. It's like you're sitting on your couch and it's on the TV. You're observing it like you're not really there. In other words, like watching a boring movie. Yeah. For those of us that can't visualize, I'd imagine that thinking about it very hard and walking yourself through all of the events, like I know this happened, I know this happened, I know this happened, more audio than visual. It should be efficient, although I'm a very visual person, so I can't 100% speak to that. But it would be interesting to hear about from anyone out there that has a hard time visualizing and what they do to when they're meditating or something like that. That'd be really interesting. So if that's you, then say hi. Let's see. So you want to visit this memory as vivid as you can, as long as you don't get emotional. Stay unattached. The energy that is trying to get at us, it's trying to pull us back into that moment. It's trying to pull us back into the fear, into the anger. It's trying to get you welled up in it, and it's also trying to get you to run away from it. So it's trying to pull you in. It's trying to make you run away. So it either wants you to go this way or that way, and you got to stay right here. You got to just watch it and be like, huh. It's like watching the news when terrible stuff happens. It didn't happen to you, so it's kind of like, oh, you kind of want to have that feeling. Although that does sound a little cold-hearted, but I hope you guys get it. Let's see, yeah. When we are holding that emotion in and we are not running away from it and we are observing it and we're like, okay, I acknowledge that this happened to me without any reaction, then you're getting that energy back. And you'll find that the more of these things that you're able to kind of recapitulate, reclaim, the more that you're able to observe and visit those times in your life that were really, really horrible and just accept them, you'll find you'll have a lot more emotional energy inside of you because it's not trapped back there. And from a psychological standpoint, I guess you could say that this is kind of like your present reactions are not based on prior trauma anymore because you were kind of able to sort through it. I mean, that's what one of the main points of talk therapy is to sort through negative experiences and unbox them. And this is a way of helping you yourself do it. And here's my little shout out here. For the next part, I have to give my buddy at the Black Tower, which is another YouTube channel. I think if you look at my channel page, he's over on one of the sides in my the fellow Azathoth members. I got to give my buddy the Black Tower credit for this. If there are certain memories that are very difficult for us to recall, but we know we should, or you really want to visit a negative memory so you can wonder what happened around there and just being able to take that energy back. But it's almost like for me, with things that happen like that for me was if you've ever seen the butterfly effect when the main character's on the couch and the psychotherapist puts him into hypnosis and he's trying to get him to recall what happened with the mailbox and the explosion and the car, and he would just see these little flashes leading up to the event, but then it would become too difficult for him to see it, and he just popped right back out of it. That's kind of the way that it was for me, in the fact that like no matter how many times I tried to observe this thing, I could see the before and the after, but it was just hitting a wall, So yeah, unfortunately I had a tendency to like any traumatic experiences. I had a lot of my brain had a tendency to just black things out. So there's actually quite a bit of my life that I can't remember because I literally would just black it out. It would just be like, fuzziness on a tape. Scene 1, scene 3, that kind of stuff. So my friend told me to just follow the emotion. So regardless of what the emotion is, if you're trying to revisit something, if it's fearful, you have to let yourself kind of embrace it a little bit. You honor it. You're like, yeah, I can feel that. I'm not going to own it because that's in the past, but I feel that. Focus on how fearful you were. Focus on how happy it was, or whatever the emotion tied with that memory is. You just kind of got to be in it and try not to force, like, oh, I think this happened next. Oh, I think this happened next. Just what happened. You kind of got to let go. You're a free observer. You can't control what's on the TV. You just got to watch the TV. I'm also not a very big advocate for TV, but that's like the best analogy I could think of. Anyway, so when it came to recapping things for me like that, it worked after several tries. Maybe like I hit the grindstone when I'm really kind of gung ho about something. So I tried over the course of 3 days after my friend gave me this tip, and all those things came back to me. It's amazing just to know that there's things still in here that are hiding, and we just have to knock at the wall until we can get those things back out. So that's the end of my script here. But so emotions are really where our power comes from. When we are and memories are just recordings of emotions. And if you really want to, it's one thing if, like, oh, I'm trying to do a prosperity spell, so I need to be in a good mood. So you have a good day, you eat your favorite food, all that stuff. And even if you know that, like, if you smile, then you will start to feel happy. It's like a face versus emotions, chicken or the egg, which came first, that kind of thing. But if you really want to tap into some strong power, it's in your emotions, and it's in your memories, because we already have lived through those things. It's much more comfortable to rely on things that we know, rather, and do things that we already know, than to try something new. So we're kind of tapping on the things that we already know have happened and how we felt. And I felt like this back then when it happened, and I want to feel the same way about the result of my spell work. I think this is the best way to word it. So let me know what you guys think. Check out all my other videos for magical mechanics and working with the Necronomicon. Drop me a comment. Send me an email at priestofthenecro@gmail.com for questions, comments, complaints, concerns, issues, and good hunting.